So, the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively situation is ugly, and it's also the only thing that has sparked enough interest for me to want to make content in like over a month? Question mark. So we're talking about it. I finally have thoughts about something, so we're talking about it. I am not going to show everything from her complaint and his suit. I'm just talking about my findings. If you want to see that stuff, Google it. I literally have 11 pages of notes. It took me like 3 fucking days to read through his lawsuit. And like some stuff is crossed out. Don't know if you can see that. So we're starting with purple is what I was reading as I was going through her stuff, by the way. And then the following pages are blue when I was going through his suit. There is so much. As I'm reading through this, it is my raw reaction, writing the stuff down as I was reading it. I would like to say that we should keep an open mind about all of this, and we should really put on our critical thinking caps. And these are celebrities in Hollywood. These are rich people, Yeah, okay. So I don't think we should just blindly believe anything either side is saying. None of these people can be trusted, okay? Celebrities, rich people, people on social media who are just like, Team Justin, Team Baldoni. That's so strange. That is so incredibly strange. All right, page 1, Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. I'm curious as to how these HR stories are planted as an attempt to ruin Justin Baldoni's life when so much of the cast and crew want nothing to do with him, because his side was saying that the screenshots that were used in Blake Lively's complaint were planted and also doctored, and there was a lot of information omitted, which there was, but we'll get to that. And everything that I am saying, there is a high chance that I will circle back to it later. So these are not the final thoughts. Again, I am reading these just in the order that they came to me. So the crew wanted nothing to do with him. The people who were there to witness the alleged harassment and general predatory behavior. How did Blake Lively and her team embark on a smear campaign against him when it's her who's been on the receiving end of vitriol for months because of how successful his smear campaign is? And I stand by that. The social media, go on any post about this, most of the comments are going to be like, Team Baldoni, I believe Justin, Blake Lively. So I think trying to claim that Blake Lively and her team have gone out of their way to try to ruin his life and his reputation and his image and his career, they fall kind of flat when you look at the public's opinion and how heavily it's weighing in his favor still. Let's be for real. And people in the comments also like to say, we're watching the same thing that happened to Johnny Depp happen to Justin Baldoni. Johnny Depp is doing fine. He's still a respected Hollywood actor with millions of dollars. He is doing fine. And I'm pretty sure that he did get work after the trial, right? Even still, there are a plethora of comments siding with him, saying she's just callous and cold and mean. Okay, and then this is about Nathan and Abel, the two women that are part of his crisis PR team. And I wrote, this is still strange, because I went back and crossed some of this out. Laughing about the internet defending him so hard when even these two women on his team believe he's not that great seem pretty straightforward. I can't remember what exactly she said. Do I have... Oh, God. I don't think I saved it. Oh, God, I don't think I saved it. Oh, God, that sucks. But, yeah, one of them was laughing about how people are really singing his praises, and even she doesn't think he's that great. His team put a lot of focus, in their language, on Blake Lively's claims all being false. They're lies. They were twisted and misconstrued, and she's manipulative and she's gaslighting. But there were some things that they didn't even touch on. They didn't try to debunk, and they debunked a lot. So I also find it interesting that they didn't touch on these things. And now that I'm saying it out loud, that was one of them. I do not recall seeing them reference the text in which either Nathan or Abel was laughing about how they don't even think Justin Baldoni is that good of a guy, but let the public do what the public do. Side note, we can't trust Daily Mail, not only because they're terrible and fake as shit, but one of JB's minions used her connections with them to assist in taking down Blake Lively, which isn't that also in a way what his team is accusing Lively of doing with the New York Times? You know, by the way, when I'm asking a question, I'm being sincere. Like, isn't that what they're doing? Because, like, this is legality and this is law. Girl, I'm not an attorney. Hell no. I can barely count. So there is a genuine chance that I'm not comprehending some of this correctly. Correct me if ever I am wrong. Like, genuinely. Have you seen the stuff in the New York Times article? It's pretty nasty. Some of it I would consider full-blown SA. So Blake Lively is mean. This is my end of the notes, because I crossed out a lot. So Blake Lively is mean. Blake Lively is bratty. Blake Lively herself is problematic. So what? She deserves sexual harassment and sexual assault because she's mean? I don't care if she's a mean girl. And she is. And sometimes she tries too hard to be funny. And I do think she's full of herself. And I do think she's just another entitled, rich, white woman asshole who likes to exude her power and privilege over other people. Does that mean I think she deserves to be assaulted? No. Why is a woman being bitchy more reprehensible than a man assaulting her? Again, with the comments under any post about this, people just say that she's mean. They'll say that she's just trying to ruin Justin Baldoni's career. And it's like, why does that offend you more than the allegations? That don't make no sense unless you're the bad person. Okay, now, you're not immune to propaganda. You're not immune to media manipulation tactics, which is something to keep in mind, because Justin Baldoni hired Johnny Depp's crisis PR team. And, like, that fact, that is something that I cannot overlook. I think that's very strange. Why would you hire the team who helped clear that man's name and subjected a victim of abuse to such vitriol in the name of helping their client? Like, I get it, you have a job to do, but it's sort of like, sure, it's the job and someone has to do it, but let's just be honest, some jobs are scummy. Like paparazzi. Okay, now we're on to the Justin Baldoni side of stuff. I was waiting a few days after taking these notes to see if anything new would come out, and I'm glad I did, because Justin Baldoni just filed a lawsuit against the New York Times. Most of this I'm taking with a grain of salt. The first thing to stand out to me was trying to debunk the sexual harassment claim about Heath. I don't remember his first name, and I don't really give a shit. Showing Blake Lively a supposedly pornographic video of his wife. The suit claims it was actually a video of her at home giving birth, deeply personal, and they were using it to creatively discuss the birth scene in the film It Ends With Us. And, like, they showed, like, a screen grab from the video in question, and sure as that's who I'm assuming is Heath, and his wife, like, in a tub at home holding their newborn baby. So yes, maybe that is the video that was shown. It's certainly not pornographic, but I still think that's strange. You can't use other birth scenes for examples, and if it's so personal and intimate, why are you showing your co-workers? And it did state in the suit that the wife gave permission for the video to be shown, and this doesn't have much to do with the suit overall, because if it's just a birthing video, it's just a birthing video. It's not sexual harassment. Okay, I agree. Like, if like I said, if it's so deeply personal to you and it's something intimate between you and your wife and your family, why are you discussing it with your coworkers, and why are you showing your coworkers? You couldn't use... There are public videos of, like, birth meant for, like, the education of medical students. You can find any medical procedure just on YouTube because it's educational. So why couldn't you use that? Or why couldn't you pull a birth scene from another like show or movie to take notes from that? You know what I mean? I have permission to like see my sister's birth videos. I like to explore things creatively. That doesn't mean I'm gonna show my coworkers. Maybe that's just me being nitpicky, but also the language here emphasizes basically that the New York Times helped Lively lie and spread a false narrative. Weren't they just reporting on what was filed as a complaint to the CRD? And I have /Jen, genuine question. Because I understand how they could be caught in the crossfire. I mean, I guess intentions don't matter when it comes to defamation and slander. I think I just accidentally answered my own question. Quote, Lively set the tone, a tone that Baldoni respectfully heeded during the creative process, unquote. And this is in regards to them talking about the character Lily's wardrobe in the film. Lively was making a suggestion and saying like this one, like this will be way more sexy. And then later, Baldoni also referenced the clothing and used the word sexy. And in Blake Lively's CRD complaint that we saw through the New York Times, she was saying that she felt uncomfortable with him referring to her character, who she embodies, like it's herself, it's her person, as sexy, and took it as harassment. And I agree when it comes to the language itself. Like, if you take it there, I would assume that that is then okay for me to say, because you're also saying it to me. Because on the flip side, what if I don't want you to tell me how sexy you want your character to look? That kind of feels like a come on. So I agree with that. However, calling her character's attire sexy is not an invitation for him to allegedly kiss her unscripted or have his buddy play her OBGYN while she was naked and uncovered on a table. Allegedly. So this Lively set the tone and he just respectfully heeded it. That is a can of worms. That sentence right there can be used to excuse some pretty gross things. That's basically saying, like, it's kind of giving you consented to it and you can't revoke that consent. I'm just saying. Like I said, I agree. If you're coming to me saying that your character should look sexy, I'm going to assume it's okay for me to say that your character should look sexy. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to kiss you without your consent when that's not in the script. You know what I mean? Or say sexual things to you out of character, which was also in the complaint. You know what I mean? And even the crew was allegedly uncomfortable watching that. You know what I mean? This suit claims that the actions in the complaint that could no longer be permitted to happen on set never actually happened, and saying no more before the demands is misleading. I wasn't there. You weren't there. I don't know, but this feels like a good time to bring up 2 points I've had in my head while reading this. Filing this suit means Justin Baldoni and his team are consenting to having their messages read to disprove Blake Lively. I can't imagine they'd be willing to incriminate themselves with undeniable proof, like photo evidence. However, that's only texts. On the flip side, I cannot forget that much of the cast and crew didn't want to associate in any way with Justin Baldoni. Something went down on this set, I think, and we should circle back to that. One of the points this article, as well as a plethora of people online, have raised is that Blake Lively waited months to go public with this. Apparently, on top of that, I believe Sony stated no HR complaints were filed against Justin Baldoni. Sure, maybe there was nothing to report. Maybe she needed time to spin a story. Or maybe she didn't complain because women are always told to just suck it up. And when they do finally speak up, they're subjected to shame and vitriol online and not believed. I just think that that is also something that we should keep in our brains as we pick through this. Like, maybe she just didn't have the lie concocted yet. Maybe there was nothing going on. Or maybe she was afraid. People don't report it because no one ever takes it seriously. Picking through the suit itself now, not just the article. Justin Baldoni's team claims Blake Lively's decision not to file a lawsuit was deliberate to, quote, spare her, unquote, from the scrutiny of the discovery process. So basically, by not filing a lawsuit and only filing a complaint, she wouldn't be showing her ass. Because if she filed a lawsuit, she would have had to do the overturning of like her text messages, and they're saying that she didn't want to do that because that would mean that she wouldn't be able to fake any of it. She would have had to show the whole thing, and this is true. There was stuff that she omitted. But it's Hollywood. These are celebrities. They're all liars and manipulators. I don't know. Funnily enough, they also point out how the people don't trust publications anymore. Shit, you right, LOL. Superb note-taking by me. They claim the backlash she received for her, quote, insensitive, unquote, promo of the movie happened organically, and I don't disbelieve that. It became too big to be fabricated, I guess. We've seen countless times how someone's old shit will resurface at random and cause a storm. And yeah, I do think that she kind of did that to herself. And the way that she promoted it was stupid and insensitive and strange for a film that's literally about domestic violence. Grab your florals. Someone at TMZ says the cast and crew not liking Justin Baldoni was blown way out of proportion. So remember how I said the cast and crew unfollowed him and they would not do press with him, would not be seen with him at the premiere? And that story isn't even over yet. Tag Team states there was only a complaint of ageism, to which Wayfarer, that's his studio and the studio that produced the movie, investigated and found no wrongdoing. Sure, but keep in mind they were investigating themselves. It's like complaining about HR to HR. It could mean nothing, but it seems like there's a spliced screenshot of text between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. If her and her team can fabricate shit, so can he and his. Something to keep in mind. There's nothing there's nothing of importance in these particular texts. I'm just saying I noticed the splicing. It is edited to make it look like one full text, and I'm just saying, on page 26 of the suit, if she can fake stuff, if she can omit stuff, so can he. And I have proof of it, and I really hope someone else notices. It's so obvious that I'm almost suspicious about it. Because of any dumbass can find that little cut. This suit alleges Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni discussed kissing scenes and their sex lives. It was allegedly not non-consensual. Claims that Justin Baldoni never acted without the Never acted without the coordinator. I hope they have this person confirm or deny whether he improvised or not. They didn't. Page 28. Lively allegedly denied any harassment from Baldoni or Heath following the protections for return to production agreement in November 2023, but also Kesha initially denied being a victim of Dr. Luke, so, it could go either way. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Tensions seem to have risen with Blake Lively wanting control of the project, but what changed? What happened that made her go from agreeable to allegedly controlling? Allegedly, during the premiere, it wasn't that the cast didn't want to be present with Baldoni, but Lively allegedly barred it from happening, and I found this on page 36. Either the cast and crew actually want nothing to do with him, or Lively pressured, perhaps even allegedly bribed them into wanting nothing to do with him. I'm not saying I believe either. I'm only presenting the two options that I think possible. Thus far, I'm still not convinced that I should be on Justin Baldoni's side. Yeah, this all makes Blake Lively look really bad, but that's intentional. I think his team is leaving stuff out just like hers did. What aren't they saying? Blake Lively's abrupt tonal shift of going from agreeable and cooperative to hijacking the film and wanting Justin Baldoni nowhere near it wouldn't come out of thin air, but I do think this case is complicated. And then I randomly remembered as I was reading, what about him claiming he could talk to her dead father? The screenshots supplied by Justin Baldoni's team to showcase his PR team being subjected to threats supposedly because of Blake Lively seem fake as sorry. And I found that on page 39, and it was so generic and corny. I don't believe it. I don't know what else to tell you. I simply don't believe it. This suit paints Justin Baldoni as such a good guy who cares about domestic violence and women and film as an art form rather than profit. And I'm just very suspicious of it all. It's trying very, very hard to convince me that he's a good guy, nice guy, if you will. And the effort put into it's having the opposite effect. Page 43, and they've begun describing Blake Lively's takeover. But what did anyone do to stop her? Why was Justin Baldoni too afraid to say no to her? Why didn't she get fired and replaced? And they go over this a little bit, saying that they didn't want to lose more time and they didn't want to lose the money. But in a way, didn't that happen anyway? Jen. Genuine question. It's like, were you afraid of pissing her off because she might say something that you didn't want us to know? Am I being paranoid? Do I have trust issues? Maybe. But we have to dot all of our I's and cross all of our T's. People online keep wondering why Blake Lively would wait so long to make her complaints, but why did Justin Baldoni wait so long to take legal action if his film was being hijacked? That road goes both ways. Page 56, line 2, 91B. Quote, Lively's successful bullying tactics result in Baldoni's exile from his own film, unquote. I want cast and crew from Blake Lively's previous projects to speak on their experiences working with her. Because this suit does a really good job at making her out to be some monstrosity, some nightmare coworker, and I want to know what it was like on sets that didn't have all of this whatever the hell happened between these two. So the audio here is going to sound like crap, but I just wanted to give a quick little update. Some people actually did speak about Blake Lively and wanted to give their support for her in this situation. And I'm only talking about people who have worked with her, who are coming out in support now that this stuff is coming out. But America Ferrera, you know what I meant to say, Alexis Bledel, and Amber Tamblyn, the people who were in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, that's the name of it, right? Jenny Slate, Michelle Marone, is that how you say it? You know the guy who's in 365 Days. Are you lost, baby girl? Yeah, they've all come out and said something. I believe Abigail Breslin also said something, but I don't think they ever worked together. She's just showing her support. And I wanted to mention that someone on Threads brought up a point that I hadn't even considered, did not cross my mind for so much as half a second. She was an executive producer from December 2022 per Baldoni's lawsuit. They're claiming it was in name only and seem shocked she did anything remotely related to the title, but then lambasted that she didn't deserve the mark from PGA after filming, but then said she wasn't focusing on the budget, which a producer should. These are all points Baldoni has in his statement. They contradict themselves so much. And so this has pushed me further towards Team Blake Lively. On page 60 now, and Friedman claims Leslie Sloan weaponized Justin Baldoni's faith to paint him as a predator. Furthermore, the way she texts drives me bat insane. Learn how to f***ing type. Then they just go into cause of action, which is what they're actually officially suing for. But in all of the debunking, I see no confirmation or denial from the intimacy coordinator. Justin Baldoni's team didn't touch on these three things that I could see. It is very possible that I missed it, but I did not see it. Justin Baldoni claiming he can speak to Blake Lively's deceased father. A kissing of the neck scene in which Justin Baldoni spoke to Blake Lively out of character, or the birth scene in which Blake Lively was not given a protective cover and Justin Baldoni's friend was hired as the OB character to get his face pretty much up in between her legs, uncovered, all allegedly, of course. In conclusion, Blake Lively may be a crazy, lying, controlling, manipulative bitch with an asshole husband. I didn't even get into that. Girl, Google it. But this suit did not successfully convince me that Justin Baldoni didn't do any weird, disgusting shit. And being a bitch does not justify predatory behavior. I am keeping an open mind about this case. I'm not definitively picking a side. I'm waiting to see what more comes out. But I'm just saying that we should not be so quick to believe an accused abuser when they're like, no, I didn't do anything. She is actually orchestrating this whole smear campaign against me to ruin my life. Because, come on, guys. How many of us are familiar with that tactic? It is 11:49 p.m. and I am still editing. I forgot to mention something. Blake Lively and her team are also now, they're taking legal action. So, like, it got bigger and it's getting worse. I'm very interested to see how that is going to unfold.